First off, tell me who you are and what position you're running for.
My name's Shep Helton, and I'm running for the State House in District 14.
Tell me why you decided to run for State House.
I'm running for the State House really because I can't help it. I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I had somebody ask me about running, and it really struck with me because I'd wanted to do something like that ever since I was in high school, really, and felt like it was the kind of thing that I would be good at. And so I went home, prayed about it, talked with my wife about it, and we felt like it was the right thing to do. See, I believe that right now we have to have some people who are not politicians get in here and try to make a difference. I'm just a conservative, common sense sort of a guy, and I'm really tired of the way things are. And I believe that it's going to take people who really want to just be statesmen and get down there and do the right thing and take care of the people of this district. And I want to be part of the solution. And I just feel like it's the right thing to do.
Give me two hot button issues that you're for that maybe differ from your opponent.
We don't differ as far as hot buttons much, except that I would say that my number one focus right now is on finding ways to help bring jobs to the people of this district. As I've gone knocking on doors in Silver Creek and Lindale and Model and Armurchie and all over Floyd County and all over Bartow County, what I have seen is that people are hurting now because jobs are gone. We're losing those jobs, and we've got to get them back. Whatever it takes to do that. That's my number one thing. And I would say that my opponent has spent a lot more time talking about national issues. He spent a lot of time talking about cap and trade or Obamacare or things like that, when to me, I believe that the number one thing that all the people of this district want is solid employment. And I believe that we can get that by offering tax incentives. I believe that we really do need to work on our road projects. The people tell me that they want 411 completed. I've made some efforts to talk to Todd Long, who is the director in Atlanta, who's in charge of prioritizing which roads get started. And I want to do that. And 140, it really needs to be widened. That's got to happen. And I believe that widening widening 140, completing 411, will also bring business into to Floyd County and to Bartow County. And I believe that we've got to do that. My number one thing is jobs, and I think that my opponent's number one issues really may be more national in nature.
You mentioned 411-75 connector. Mm-hmm. Thoughts about the proposed current route?
Well, initially, I had said I believe that we need to do the route that can get done the fastest and the most economically. That's been my position the entire time, because there is a new route that's sort of getting a little traction with some folks that would bypass all the Rollins property. It's a shorter route that should cost less money. The problem with that route, after talking with Mr. Long, is that it's not approved. And if you're going to be doing a federal road, you've got to get federal approval, and there's all sorts of environmental surveys and studies and things that are going to delay the project. If we do it that way, I'm afraid. And he also said that they've done a lot of work to really bring the cost down on the current route. So I still believe that I want to get the route that is going to get done the fastest and be the most economical, and I believe that that will be the current route.
As far as you as a man, as a quote-unquote possible future politician,
right,
how can people trust you? Why should people vote for you? And what is your stances on those issues?
Why can you trust me? I wish that you had somebody besides me to answer the question, because bragging on myself is not something that I like to do. I will tell you that I have been brought up and taught from the day I was old enough to listen that you always tell the truth, and no matter what, the whole truth, and that you always try to do what's right, that you treat people the way that you would like to be treated. And that principle is really how I've tried to live my life. I try to treat people the way that I would like to be treated. And that goes for the people of the district. I want to represent them the way that I would like to be represented. And that really is my goal. That's what I really want to do, to really be the voice for all the people of this district. And it's been said that I'm not really a District 14 guy, and I don't know where that comes from. My family is 3 generations in Adairsville. That's my granddaddy, my daddy, and me. I've lived in Taylorsville, Cassville, Adairsville. Love the folks in Floyd County. Have really enjoyed making those strong relationships over there. And my wife and I, when we go out on dates, we go to Floyd County. It's where I like to be. And this district is what I want to represent. And I want to do it with integrity and honesty and some real statesmanship, not political stuff. And I believe that a statesman tells the whole truth all the time, and no matter what, even if it's going to be unpopular, that's what a statesman does, and so that's what I try to do.
One of the issues that in a lot of debates have been tort reform,
Yeah.
and you've kind of bucked the trend in saying that you didn't believe in capping pain and suffering. That kind of hurts a lot of people, but yet you earn the respect of somebody that might not follow party lines, that votes with your conscience and with your constituents. What do you got to say about that and party lines and party politics? And you have said you're conservative, not necessarily gung-ho Republican right down the line. What do you have to say about that?
Well, when somebody asks me a question, I do my best to give the answer that I believe is right. And it doesn't make much difference to me whether they like that answer. I really do my best to give the answer that I believe to be right. And caps on pain and suffering is unconstitutional. It was struck down by the Georgia Supreme Court in a 7-0 decision that it was unconstitutional by depriving people of the right to a trial by jury. It involves having the government step in and tell somebody how much money an injury is worth. And that's wrong. It's anti-conservative, and I believe that it's wrong. And I know that sometimes people don't like that, but I believe that a lot of people don't like that for reasons. They hear that caps are good. I mean, Glenn Beck, I believe, talks about how we've got to have these caps and that sort of thing. But the truth is that these caps are really predicted. And there's some articles written in Business Week, I think it was November of 2009, and talk about how little it has an impact at all on health care costs. It helps malpractice costs, but healthcare costs themselves go down precious little by doing that. Tort reform needs to be done and needs to be done desperately, and it just doesn't need to be done with caps. And I don't take any particular pride in bucking any kind of trends. I'm running on a Republican ticket because I really agree with the Republican platform. But I'm a conservative first, and believe that conservative principles dictate who I am and how I vote.